Warning, videos by Billy Alsbrooks do cause side effects. And those side effects are champions being born, dreams being realized, the weak becoming strong, weight loss, victory over unbelievable odds, incredible comeback stories, the sick being healed, marriages being restored, victory over all forms of addiction, job promotions, average people becoming millionaires, warriors becoming blessed and unstoppable. These videos will motivate and inspire you to take action. Warning, your faith is now being increased to the level it takes to move mountains. Arise, champion. I'm Billy Alsbrooks and I approve this message. Right before my sophomore year, my mother got a promotion. So my family, we moved from Dallas, Texas to beautiful South Florida. It was around this time that I really got into rap music. I mean, I'd always had this desire on the inside to express myself. I mean, I can remember back when I was around 8 years old in church, I used to sit there with the little tithing envelopes and write little jingles and little songs like I'd see in the hymn books. I was just a little kid, but I had this voice, this craving to express myself. Destiny conspired to put me in position, to give me a platform to express what was inside of me, to move me toward my calling that I'm in today. My rap career started in my sophomore year. I was on the baseball team, and we had this 4-hour break from when school got out and when our game started that evening. So to kill time, me and some buddies went over to a friend's house. He was a DJ. He had 2 Technique 1200s, a Newmark mixer, a crate of records, a couple cassette decks, and a microphone. I felt like I was in heaven. I was in awe. I'd never seen no equipment like this. Johnny, the guy's house we at, he was known for making mixtapes locally there at the school. So he put a cassette tape in, hit record, put the needle on the record, and started mixing. They knew that I rapped around school. So Johnny handed me the mic and said, "You rap, I'll mix, let's get it." I mean, he was spinning all the classics. Instrumental to Planet Rock, Play at Your Own Risk, Set It Off, Drummers Beat, all the funky grooves, just mixing instrumentals back to back. And I'd be busting these little 8-bar raps, freestyle off the top of my head. We weren't any good, but we didn't know it. We just went all in with what we did have because we was passionate about music. Something about that microphone being in my hand felt right. It was like love at first sight. And when we got done, I took that cassette tape that we had made, I took it home with me. I thought after that first mix, I was one of the best rappers in the world, somewhere between KRS-One and Too Short. You couldn't tell me nothing. Looking back, what was crazy about it was I had 2 big revelations back to back. The first revelation was the microphone felt good in my hands, like it belonged. Yeah, that was my first self-discovery. The second was I got a taste of what it was like to be an entrepreneur. You see that tape we had made? I took it home and I made 5 copies of it. And the next day I went to school with those 5 copies, and before lunch, I had sold all 5 at $5 a piece. That means I had $25. Now that don't seem like a lot today, but back then I was getting $10 a week allowance, and I had to do a whole lot of chores to get that $10. So to make $25 before lunch, I was like, hold on, something's here. I gotta explore this. So when school got out, I went to the local drugstore and I bought a 10-pack of blank tapes. They cost me $10. So I had $15 left and I had 10 more tapes. So I went home, dubbed those 10 tapes up, came back the next day and sold all of them. By the end of the week, I had over $100-something. Third revelation, I realized I was a salesman, that I had some hustle in me, some grind in me, and I could use that grind and use that hustle, that sales talent that I had, and I could get whatever I wanted. I studied the game. I realized when I did a mixtape, if I shouted out some of the popular kids' names in school, and I put their name on the tape, that I usually sold 3 or 4 times as many of that tape as the other ones. People love to hear their name. That's that Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. See, I was learning it in real time. I didn't have nobody teaching me this. No mentors, no coaches, nothing like that. I was just studying the game. A couple months went by, and I took that money that I was making and reinvested it back into myself. I bought my own equipment. I kind of got forced into that because the guys that I was making the mixtapes with, it was on their equipment. And they started catching beef with me, seeing me making money and seeing my name get big around school. These guys were closet DJs and bedroom rappers. And what I mean by that is they had the big dreams of being a star in the rap game, but they never left the bedroom. They never left the closet with their music. They wouldn't put in the sweat and the grind, too scared of rejection to go out on the street and make that dream a reality. I was never a great rapper. I was just above average, but my grind and my hustle was great. See, when I hit the block, it was 120 beast mode. I wasn't scared to hear a no. I wasn't gonna let somebody's no stop me from doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't good enough to have somebody put me on. But see, that molded and shaped me. It prepared me for what I'm doing now. Cause see, I had to work for everything I got. It wasn't long before I was #1 in school. Then I became #1 in that whole area. #1 in that whole city. Everybody knew my name. I grew up listening to Jam Pony Express. Now, these guys were legends in the DJ game in the state of Florida. And all I dreamed about was being good enough to be asked into that group, to be with that clique. They were legends in Florida. I mean, they were like DJ Red Alert, DJ Kid Capri, DJ Clue, the DJ Screw of Florida. Now, the headquarters of the rap game in South Florida at this time was a place called Cotam Stereo, located inside the Oakland Park Flea Market. This was the hub of all the mixtape game. People would come from all over the world to get the mixtapes there and take them back to their towns and dub them and sell them across the country. When you go into Cotam, they had this notebook sitting on the counter. Inside that notebook, it had a list of all the cassette tapes that they had for sale. And they was all by number. Like you'd have 801, 802, 803. And each number would have the song list of what was on that cassette. And the DJ's name. Like DJ Slick Vic, Big Ace, Cool to See, J-Dog, Bass Style Express, DJ Uncle Al, Power Funk DJs. These guys were street legends. And the way it worked back in the day was, if you wanted to be put on in the rap game, if you wanted to be famous, you had to have your music, your tapes in Cotam's book. If you weren't in that book, you were just a wannabe. You had to be somebody or do something big to get in that book, because they only had like 7, 8 names in it. That's it. It wasn't about money, because Cotam only paid $10 a master tape. So what you would do is you bring your tape in there, they give you $10 for it if they accepted it, and then they would make massive copies of it and sell it all over and make all the money. But as a DJ or as a rapper, that gave you instant street cred, and you could get booked all over Florida rapping or DJing in whatever club you wanted to. So I set my eyes on the prize. I dream big. I'm gonna get my tapes in that book. The world is gonna know who Billy is. Every weekend, I took a new tape down there and brought it to them, hoping to get into that book. They weren't even giving my music an honest listen. They just looked at me and saw me being young, and they put the tape in for like 5-10 seconds and then hit stop and say no. And they did this week after week after week after week. I must have went in that thing 15, 20 weeks in a row and got a no. But it didn't deter me, because I said, you know what? I'm gonna get in that book. I don't care how many times they tell me no. They gonna take my music. Finally, I started building rapport with the guy that would listen to the music. He said, you come in here every single week and get a no from us, but you keep coming back. They said most people come in here and get a no one time and we never see them again. But you keep coming back every single week. So he said, here's what we gonna do. We gonna take this tape from you this week and give it a try. We're not gonna pay you for it, but we gonna put you in the book. And we gonna see how you doing. If it does all right, you come back next week and we'll buy one from you. From that day forward, it was on. Every week, they were taking my music, and before long, 1/3 of that book was me. And all the guys that I looked up to for so long, all of them was doing collabos with me. I ended up in that group, Jam Pony. World famous Big Ace took me under his wing and trained me in the game. Rest in peace, bro. I actually later on got hired to work at Cotam. I had built a relationship up with the owners, and they needed somebody that knew the music and had street cred to purchase the music from these DJs every week because they didn't really know and understand rap music. And I was in position now to meet everybody in the rap game, and they all had to come see me. So this was an awesome opportunity for me to plant myself in the industry and learn it from the inside out. And one of the biggest things that stood out to me was Cotam was making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every year off of our mixtapes that they were only paying us $10 for. So I stepped to them one day, the owners, and I said, hey, can we work out some kind of deal, where we as DJs get more money off the cassette, like $1 a tape or something like that, or 50 cents a tape or whatever. You selling it for $10. If we could get like $1 off that thing, and you selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, we could get a couple $100 for our work. Most of the other DJs stayed high all the time, so they didn't really see what was going on. But me being on the inside of it and seeing the money that was being made, I didn't think it was an unreasonable request, because there was plenty of money to go around, but these guys just wasn't giving it out. So when I presented this offer, it really offended the owners there at Cotam. So we got into a big argument over the money, and basically they were like, you need us, we don't need you, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't that same little kid that was coming up in there with a cassette begging to get on anymore. I was on now. Everybody knew me now. Everybody came up into that store and respected me and came for me for the music. So basically, that was my last day working there. I went and bought 100 blank tapes, went home, doubled them up, and the next weekend, I'm out in that parking lot in front of Cotam, short-stopping everybody that used to buy tapes from them. I'm getting them on the outside. I'm giving them a deal, 2 for $15. And man, I'd be out there 2 hours and have $500-$600 every Saturday, every Sunday, like clockwork. It wasn't long before the owners of Cotam found out that I was out in the parking lot. So they called the owner of the flea market, and the owner sent the police over there to put a trespass warrant out on me so that I couldn't come back on the property anymore. But the thing was, I was making too much money to stop. So I let a couple weeks go by to lay low for a little bit, and about a month later, I'm back on the block again, $400, $500, $600 every Saturday, every Sunday. 6 weeks later, I get arrested for trespassing out there for selling my tapes. They succeeded in taking my spot away from me, but I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So my mind started turning what to do next. It wasn't that location that made me, I made that location. All I needed was another spot to set up. I ended up down the street at the Shell gas station. Now this spot was hot, and what I mean by that was this is where the dope boys served drugs at. If you wanted a cop, you went to the Shell gas station. All the dope boys would line up by the payphones, right? And people would pull up to get gas. The dope boys would jump out, serve them, and then go back by the phones. Now, at this point, I had street cred. Everybody knew my name in the street around there. They knew I did music. They didn't see me as a threat because I didn't smoke and I didn't serve drugs. I just did music. So they didn't mind me hanging around there. So we had this little system set up. When a car would pull up, the dope boys would jump out, do their thing. And when they got done, I would walk over there with my bag of tapes. I'd be like, hey, I got that music. They'd put my cassette tape in, play it, and usually about 9 out of 10 times they buying something from me. Back when I was working at the flea market, I had met this guy, Jack, who had a full recording studio in his house, but he didn't know anything about the equipment. He wasn't a sound engineer, didn't know how to produce beats, didn't want to. All he wanted to do was rap. Now, he had approached me saying, hey, if you come over here and make beats for me at the crib or whatever, I'll give you free studio time whenever you want it. You can just come in here whenever you want to record. You can do what you want to do free. Just when I want to beat or whatever, when I want to rap, you come in here and record me. Up until this time, I'd always been rapping over other people's beats on these mixtapes that I was doing. They're instrumentals. It wasn't my own music. It was my lyrics, but somebody else's music. So this offer from Jack was perfect for me because I wanted to get into doing my own stuff. And this gave me the opportunity to learn and to progress in my career. Now, he had all this top-notch equipment in there, but no manuals, and there was no one else to show me how to run this stuff. I just had to figure it out the hard way. I'd go over to his house every single night, 8 to 10 hours, and just grind in the studio cutting music. I ended up doing my first album there. Did the whole thing myself, produced it, wrote it, mixed it, engineered it, performed it, all of it. What I didn't have, my grind overcame. I ended up getting to intern at the biggest radio station in Miami at the time, which was Power 96. That was such an honor to me, because see, I had street cred, but now the next move was getting on the radio. And I was looking up and idolizing DJ Laz, who was king of Miami at the time. I ended up getting introduced to him and actually got to open up perform on a couple of the shows that he did, he'd call me up on stage right in the middle of his performance and let me do my thing right in the middle of the show, and we would rock the house. So when my first record came out that I had made myself, my own music, he was the first person that I brought it to. Because I was like, oh, if this guy plays my record, it would mean so much. This is the guy I look up to. And he ran Miami. If he played the record, you were pretty much on. That's it. You know, every other station in Florida was gonna jump on it. He had connects in Texas and Cali. So I knew if I could get him to play it, my career was about to take off. I knew I had a hit record and the music was good because I was testing it out on the streets on my mixtapes before I ever brought it over there. And the response I got on the streets was crazy. They were buying it like crazy. So I knew, okay, I got a hit record here. Now all I gotta do was get this guy to play it. And I'm on. He used to DJ at this teen club on Friday night, and it was wall to wall in there. 1,500 kids, standing room only at this place. It was the hottest club in Fort Lauderdale. So I brought the vinyl over there to the club, went up in the DJ booth and gave it to him. Said, hey, this is my new record, man. You know, I've been looking up to you for years, man. If you could play it, it'd mean a whole lot to me. See, at this time, all I had was music. It meant everything to me. I had a dream, my grind, and this music, and that's it. That's all I had to offer to the world at that time. Me and my girlfriend went out there every Friday from the moment that club opened up to the moment it closed, till the last record was played. We stayed there because I didn't want to miss it. If he played my record, I wanted to be there when it happened. I went out there 3 months straight, and he never played it. I remember the last time that I was in there in that club, I remember walking out the club with tears in my eyes. Because see, I knew I had a good record. Because when I go outside the club, people were driving off, playing my mixtapes, playing the song that I'm trying to get him to play. And it's everywhere. Every single car's leaving the club playing my stuff. So I knew it wasn't my music. So I'm like, what's the deal here? He's rejecting me. The guy that I idolize is rejecting me. And see, I'm young and dumb, and I don't understand how the music business operates. I don't understand that there's a protocol to that. All I can understand is he's not playing my record, and it's hurting me on the inside. I got this dream, and this guy's holding it up. At the time, my mind state was this. You could just about do anything you wanted to me in any kind of way, and I'd forgive you for it. But the one thing I wouldn't forgive you for is not believing in me and my dream. It crushed me emotionally. See, all that love and admiration I had for him turned to hate. Truth is the new black, the couture for greatness. Get your t-shirts now at blessedandunstoppable.com. Join the movement. Blessed and unstoppable. Success starts with putting the right things into your mind. And my new book, Blessed and Unstoppable, was strategically designed to align your mind with the laws of success. This curriculum will teach you the inner mechanics required to go from average to phenomenal, from living a life with limits to being blessed and unstoppable. As you follow this guide step by step, amazing breakthroughs will happen. New doors of opportunity will open, and favor will begin to chase you down. Blessed and Unstoppable is a 31-day devotional on the laws of success. This book will instigate the thought process and actions required to transform your life. Each day has a Bible verse, a teaching on that day's principle, a positive affirmation, a prayer for the day, self-assessment questions, success quotes, action steps, and a powerful inspirational message. Regardless of what field you're in, Blessed and Unstoppable is your blueprint for success. Get your copy at blessedandunstoppable.com. Also available on Amazon.